Hello, Quite Contrary Beauties. Hello. Jump in and say hi so I know that you're there. We are going to be launching into doing concealers and blush tonight, which I'm pretty excited to do a little toot with you guys. Some basics pretty much. Just trying to line this up. All right. If you've had a lovely week, it has been raining here. It's been fabulous. It's been great filling up some tanks, and it's been wonderful to listen to. It's such great weather at the moment too. So, hi. How's it going? How's your week? Hello, beautiful lady. How are you? So, tonight we're launching and liquid blushes and concealers. I know some ladies feel straight away, they kind of cringe and go, oh my gosh, liquid blush, I don't know about that. I don't know. And I completely understand. I found the same thing when I heard about liquid blush. Oh, I don't know about that. But it's really not as scary as you think it is, and I'm here to show you that in person. So let's just start with concealers first, hey? So if you're not familiar with concealers, there's a few different colors you can get. So if you can think back to high school art, and the color wheel and the opposites, different colors of, say for instance, orange and blue are opposites, and obviously black and white is opposites, and red and green is opposite. So it's very much an opposites game. I'm good, thank you, lovely. I'm really good. I've got little Miss next door entertained by TV while we're having a chat. Yeah, it's been really great. It's a great week. So in saying that, that is what is really important when we talk about color correcting. So it's really important to have a really nice base to counteract anything that's going on with your face. If you're like me, I've purposely only put tinted moisturizer on today, and I have my Plumeria. I'm wearing Plumeria Lip Sense. It's like the red that you wear when you're not a red wearer. So it's kind of actually a little bit pink. It's like a pinky red. And I did some gold glitter gloss over the top because I had a little bit extra because I'm feeling a bit naked faced. So all I've done is a tinted moisturizer. There's a few different things you can do with color correcting. That's when you've got things like red. So I've had a little bit of a breakout down here. There's a little bit of red you can see coming on here, and I've got a little bit of red there. I have a bit of dark circle going on underneath my eyes at the moment. Yeah, it's a lack of sleep kind of thing because I have assignments due. But, so I've purposely showing you that this is what we're going to work on. So I'm going to show you all of our products in action as well. So, if we're talking about color correcting, I'm talking about, we're going to do something about the redness here. We're going to do something about the dark circles, that it's quite a dark kind of color. So when you're color correcting, it's really great to do that first up. So you might just do your primer on your face if you use a primer. So that's a bit of like a moisturizing base if you're not familiar with that. And then that's when we do it, then we can go in with our color correcting before we do our foundation. You can do it after your foundation, it is completely up to you. But I like to color correct before I do my foundation. So I'm going to be using the green. So this is the green concealer. So it is super, hey gorgeous, how are you? Hello. So many beautiful ladies popping on. So the green is great for counteracting red like I talked about. So we're going to do some color correcting. And so you only need a teeny weeny bit. And I'm going to use my fingers because let's be real, most of us use our fingers for our makeup. So you only need a tiny little bit. So I'm going to show you on my finger, just a little itty weeny dot. Hey, how's your day been? How's your day, Sarah? What's been happening in Brisbane, Vegas? So I've just used a tiny dot you can see here, and I just like to give it a little bit of a zhuzh, and I'm just going to go in and pat anything that's red. So I've got a little bit of a red thing going on here, so I'm just going to give that little pat. And I'm just going to do a little pat here over the general redness that's going on here. And I mentioned I've got this one little capillary, I don't know what it is, but it's just a little broken capillary that sits under my nose here. You're all going to be looking at it now, aren't you? So you can see it looks a bit odd, but we're just going to go in and dot those. And you can see I've used way too much, and that was only a tiny bit. So that's what I'm saying about being hyperpigmented. You only need a weeny bit. If you do have too much with your green concealer, it is perfectly okay if you do then, you can put it under your eyes. I'm just showing ideally the color kind of correcting how you'd use it, but you can feel free to use it like normal concealer So I'm just going to pat that out. It still looks a little bit thick, so you can still just see it's got a green tinge. Perfect Halloween makeup, by the way. All right, so that's what I would do. So you can see now that that red there is it's counteracting. Eating ice cream and checking out this best life feed ever. Woo! I totally had a chocolate spider before, so it's just a junk food kind of night. Oh, that's awesome. You're awesome. So I'm just popping on that. So you can see it's kind of counteracting. It's still got that kind of green tinge to it. So I like leaving just a little bit of green tinge because when I do my foundation over the top, so my color is dewy, I can also use, because it color corrects, don't forget foundation. So I can use Fawn as well. But then I would go in when I finish color correcting and put that over the top. So it won't be anywhere near as green, but it just gives it enough coverage. It kind of blocks that color because it's counteracting. So we've done our green. So this is the green. We'll pop that aside so it's in the done pile. The other thing I wanted to show you was, so with dark circles, you have a couple of options. If you have very, very dark circles, like I'm talking, you know, your dark blue, black, you can use a white concealer. So your white concealer is really good for counteracting black. So again, it's an opposite. But you can also use your white concealer mixed in with foundation if you say you buy a foundation in summer and it's way too dark for you. And it gets to winter and you get pale, you can mix a little bit of white concealer in to lighten up your foundation without needing to buy a different color. You can also use that for deep. So if I give that a little bit of a shake, and again, you only need a tiny bit of that. So I've just used a tiny weeny bit. It looks like my fingers are really big, but it's just because they're close to the camera. It's not that much. And again, I dot it between my two fingers. And I just go in here, if it's really dark, and I just pat it under. You can see, look how much that spreads, right? It's pretty insane. So I dot it in, and I make like a V shape. So you can see my face. I make almost like a bit of a V, just here. Because I'm not looking to just pull it in underneath. We want to kind of make sure it blends out nicely. So I blend it into that bit of a V. You can use a little sponge or something too if you're more comfortable with sponge, or makeup brush wise. Let's have a look. See, I've got to wash all my brushes and I hate washing brushes, so you can use something like, it's like a dome top there, it's a bit spongy, and you can pat on underneath your eye using that if you want, or you can use any kind of flat brush with dense bristles. So you can see how that's counteracted and it's lifted and it looks really odd. So I've got green here and I've got a bit of white here, but it's definitely counteracted that the dark patches I had. So again, because we're color correcting, we would then put our foundation on over the top of this. You can also use it, so I've got some freckles going on here on my nose. You can use that on them as well if you'd like, but I've got nothing left because I've done it all under my eyes. Something else you can use under the dark circles if it's that blue-black color, so you think about opposite again, you can use something that's a little more yellow based because that will neutralize that as well. Alternate to that, so I didn't mention deep. There is a deep concealer, so if you are a lady of color or if you've got a tan, you can use deep, maybe your more neutral color as well. Hello beautiful, how are you, Justina? How's it going? So you can use that as well. I like to use the deep concealer as contour, so I can pop it on my fingers and do it as a contour down there in each side of my nose as well. So you can use that. So I'm going to go through and now, so we're going to do a bit of a face. Hello, darling. We're going to have to say hello to everyone. Say hi, everyone. Oh, shy. That works for me just fine. So I'm just going to pop in my foundation now, just onto my brush. Usually I pop it straight on my face and then brush it out. So I'm going to pop this on because I don't know who does their foundation at 7:10 at night. But you can see, so I'm just going to dot that on really quickly, brush that out. I do like to use a brush when I've color corrected, because sometimes when you use your fingers and you feel like you're pushing around your foundation, you don't want to drag away the color that you have placed on your face. So anywhere Hey, you're good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, really good. Thank you. We're really enjoying the rain here at the moment. It's fabulous. It's really great. So I like to make sure the foundation, I just place it and I dot it gently over the places that I've color corrected because I don't want to drag all that work away that we've been just done. So I'm going to dot it up here. I'm going to pat. And so see how I'm doing this dot motion? It's called stippling. So again, if you can think back to art, if you did art, the stippling just means it's very short little touches. So you can brush, but I do a bit of a combination between both. Okay. You have to excuse, it's so weird not having eyebrows on, but yeah, here we are. Okay, so you can see now that there's you can't see that green tinge, it's completely gone and it's not red. And I purposely wore a red kind of color lip sense because when you do, as you probably noticed, when you wear a color like red, it brings out any kind of redness that's in your skin. So I purposely did wear red so we would see anything. So you can see it's gone, it's not there anymore. My dark circles are pretty much counteracted. And I have that foundation on top now too. So I'm going to show you, so that's color correcting, and that's using those opposites. So there's a few other things you can do. If you find that you don't have, lucky you don't have red patches or dark circles or anything like that that really needs that color correcting, we can use just something that's a kind of maybe a little bit lighter to brighten your eye area. So for me, I'm medium kind of fair, middle of the road really. So I use the light concealer. So now we're going to look at the light and the medium concealers. And your deep too. So if you've got darker skin, you can use your deep as your neutral. So I use light. So instead of doing the white, if I didn't have dark circles at the moment, I could just use a tiny little bit of that light concealer. And you can see it's pretty used and abused, this tube, because I use it a lot. It's the color I usually just use when I'm in a rush or straight after, or if my skin's pretty good, which has been lately a lot because of Senegence products. It's been great. Nowhere near as many breakouts. So again, I just do the little dot thing and go through and dot that underneath. So you can do, I know I've done the white underneath as well. You can do that and then go your light kind of on top, but usually it's kind of, you don't need to do both. So I just do a little bit of that V shape again. And my little freckles, I would just kind of dot a little bit on there. I've run out of it. I didn't put enough on to get in the tube. That's a good sign. So yeah, I'll just make that V shape and it just brightens the area, and that's pretty much it. So that's brightening. If my skin was a little bit darker, I would just use the medium. So the medium has got a slight more yellow tinge to it. And then that's it. And again, I like to use the deep for contouring. So that's concealers. So concealers, they're not as scary as you think that they are. Hey Kelsey, how are you going, lovely? Nowhere near as scary as you think that they are. And it really is, you can always just Google it if you're not quite sure, or if you know that you've got dark circles quite a bit and you're conscious of it, maybe worth investing in a white concealer or something like that. Vice versa if you have quite red in your skin. So if you've got rosacea as well, this is about kind of neutralizing out your base, so then we can go in now, like we're going to do, and add color where we want color. So you can see everything, the base looks good now. It's pretty nice and solid. Again, I don't have any eye makeup on whatsoever. I've just got my lips. So now we're going to put color where we want color. We're going to play with some liquid blush. So I've got a few different colors here. Okay, so these are some of the different colors you can get. There's 7 or so different color blushes. So there's a bronze, I'll show you actually. So there's a bronze, chocolate cherry, there's cherry, pouty pink. They're all different, and it just really depends on what kind of color and what kind of look you're going for. And I switch between colors all the time. So this is a very extreme, this is pink berry. It's very, very bright, and obviously you wouldn't really go straight this color. You're horrible with concealers. Oh, it's all good. It's really mostly, and I say this in confidence, it is mostly practice. It really is. You just kind of have to have a bit of a play. Yeah, you'll be fine, I'm sure. We can always meet up and just do a little consultation anyway and get you going if you'd like to. So that's fine. No problem. So this is Pouty Pink. Any of the concealers, because they're quite cool, quite interesting colors, anything that's really bright, you can also use it as eyeshadow, which is super cool. So look how pigmented this is. It is so bright, tiny little dot, right? So this is the Pouty Pink. This is quite extreme, and it just spreads and spreads and spreads. It is just amazing. So you only need a tiny little bit on your fingers when you're doing your blush. So I'm gonna use, I'm gonna go two different ones. I'm gonna go one here and one on the other side so you can get a bit of a feel. So I'm gonna use Terracotta, which is a slight kind of, it's a beautiful peach color actually, and Chocolate Cherry, which is a little bit of a darker pink. So I really love the Terracotta because it gives me a real holiday feel. If you have auburn hair or if you have red hair, the Terracotta looks really, really nice. Or light brown hair, yeah, it's really, really lovely. So I'm just gonna use a tiny weeny bit again on the one side. And what I'm gonna do with Terracotta is I'm just gonna pop it on my apples of my cheeks. So there's a few different things you can do with blush. You can place it in different spots. So some ladies like to do, if they've got a darker color blush, like to go straight down. So usually you pop your blush on your cheekbone or the apples of your cheek, which is here. Some ladies like to do their blush down a little bit further and pretty much use it like almost like contour. So it's down a little bit further. You can have a bit of a play. Some ladies, a more formal look is always like if you're doing a triangle shape. So some ladies just like to do that as well. It really depends on your face shape. It depends what look you're trying to achieve, and it's about playing, absolutely. So with the Terracotta, I'm just gonna go on the apples of my cheeks. I'm gonna go for a less formal look and something that's a little bit more fun, I suppose, because this color is pretty fun. It makes me feel like I'm on holiday, that I need to be sipping some margaritas somewhere. So I'm just doing a little bit of dabbing. It's perfectly fine if you do a little bit too much. You can always just get your foundation brush and blend it out if you want to. And vice versa, you can always add more color. So you can see there I've added just a little tiny bit of Terracotta on the apples of my cheeks. There you go. And it just instantly brightens that. See, this side looks a bit dull. This face looks this side looks very, that bright, just a little bit bright, just from that little bit of peach. So not scary, right? So on the other side, I'm going to use Chocolate Cherry, and I'm going to go for a little bit more of a full look, a little bit more of a formal look. And I do like to go up my cheekbone a little bit. So I'll start at the apples of my cheek and work my way up. I find it gives me a little bit more definition because I've got quite the round face, thanks to some fabulous German genes. So there's my tiny bit, as you can see. Toasted Rose is also a really great color. It's a very soft pink and it goes with just about every skin color. Sometimes on darker ladies, if you're tan or darker, it can get a little bit lost, but it is nice. If you're relatively fair, it goes with every kind of, pretty much every lady's skin tone. If you're fairish. Okay, so you can see I'm just dotting it on. You can use a brush if you'd like, if you prefer, but I just like to dab. I'm a dabber. Dabber. Can't do it. I shouldn't have done that. That was tragic. So you can see I've gone up my cheekbone just a bit and just about right up. So I've stayed on the apples of my cheeks. So if you have a look, you can see they're from the front. They're both in the same kind of place on the apples of my cheek. So I haven't gone beyond or below the part where the circle kind of would stop, because if it drags your face down a little bit. But you can see now if I turn to this side that the Terracotta is just on the apples of my cheek there, where there is this side it's more of a full look with the up on my cheekbone, with that definition up there. That's the look I prefer to go for my face, but every so often I will just crack out the little apple cheek concealers. So that's it. I have two different concealers on, two different blushes on, and feel really bizarre and odd about that. But you can also, don't forget, use the brighter colors, and if you like this Terracotta, it's gorgeous. You can use it on your cheeks and you can use it on your eyes as well. And that saves money, which is great. So that's it. Super pigmented, as you can see. You only need a little bit. Heaps of different ways you can play with your concealers and your blushes particularly. Don't forget with your deep too that's a great contouring colour. And again, you can use it as eyeshadow or underneath your eyes for a little bit of definition on the lower lash as well. So that is blushes and concealers. They're super pigmented, and they also have that Cineplex in it, which means that they turn your skin cells over. Super important because you think it's going underneath your eye, those concealers. So they're really places where there's a bit of drag, and some people get quite a bit of wrinkles and things like that in your eye area because it's such delicate skin. So it's really nice to know that there's some skincare and those products working while you're wearing it. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I'd like to know what you think about blush and whether you are a blush person or you just like to put it on your apples, or how you put your blush on, because everyone is so different. And yeah, it'd be great. So let me know. I've got a few of those colors in stock too. Actually, I have every color in stock ready to go because I make sure I have good inventory. If you're not too sure about how you might use your concealers or blush and you want to know more, let me know. You can direct message me, or you can pop a comment in here and we can have a bit of a play. So happy Thursday night, everyone. I'm going to be posting up something really awesome after this. It is so exciting. As you know, it is my 1 year anniversary with Quite Contrary Beauty. So it's my first birthday, essentially, the business's first birthday. And we're going to have a pretty awesome reward party, almost like a birthday bash. So I'm going to put some more information about that, and it is so exciting. You're going to want to be all over it. It's going to be amazing. So keep an eye out for that, and have a lovely Friday tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.